Chaos, absolute chaos at St James Park, as thanks to Darwin Nunez' late double, which secured Liverpool comeback over Newcastle. But the game was much more tactical than you would have thought, even with Liverpool's 10 men, and how Jurgen Klopp substitution destroyed Newcastle. So without further delay, let's dive into it. First, we look at Liverpool's plan. So Liverpool started with the same lineup, only main change was Endo. So if you've seen Liverpool previous two games, Jurgen Klopp had inverted Trent Alexander-Arnold very few times, and those few times created havoc for both Chelsea and Bournemouth. So from the minute 1, Klopp inverted Trent and formed a double pivot of Endo and Trent. And when building up, Van Dijk and Matip were too wide to stretch Newcastle's front three. At up front, Gakpo was there in an advanced role as a striker, and McAllister and Szoboszlai was in this right hand and left hand side of the midfield. But it seemed a pretty basic plan for Liverpool, as Newcastle would nullify this structure either by man marking or high press, and this forced Liverpool to play more direct football. And not just one time and time again, we saw Newcastle pressing high, forcing Liverpool to play direct football, and then Newcastle would win the ball easily due to the aerial presence advantage they got at the back. And Klopp made positional rotation too, with Trent sometimes inverting in the midfield and sometimes at right back. But do notice that these things completely changed when Van Dijk got the red card. So let's quickly take a look at Newcastle's plan before Van Dijk's red card, which completely changed the game. Eddie Howe started same lineup as he did against Manchester City. Bruno Guimaraes as a defensive midfielder, Tonali in this right hand side, and Joe Linton at that left hand side of the midfield. And talking about the shape, it was the classic 4-3-3, where Gordon provided that width to the Newcastle. And talking about their build-up, it was a 3 at the back build-up with Trippier much high on that right wing. This forced Liverpool to be more narrow in their off-the-ball shape and giving Gordon all the space on that left wing and forcing him in a 1v1 against Trent. And you know just how horrible Trent was today against Anthony Gordon. But that was not it. If you would have seen my Chelsea vs Newcastle video, I told that Newcastle like to do what's called overload to isolate. What that does mean is to overload one side of the pitch and then switch immediately to get that whole space on that other side, and that's what they exploited with Gordon. If you see above, Tonali is deep, Isaac also dropped deep, Joe Linton willing to make run, Almiron tucked in, and then Trippier is on that right wing position. And if the ball can be switched to that left wing position, Gordon can take on Trent 1v1 easily. But that's it, because then Van Dijk got red card and the game completely changed. So let's take a look at it. What were Liverpool's plan after that red card? So as usual, Newcastle dominated possession, so Liverpool shifted to a 4-1-3-1 off the ball shape. But talking about on the ball, Szoboszlai shifted right wing, Salah at a striker and Gakpo on the left wing. In the build-up from the back, Endo and McAllister formed that double pivot, but I think this system didn't favor them too much because up front there was no width and dynamic movements. And remember these two words because that's what helped Liverpool to get those two goals. Here Salah, Gakpo and Szoboszlai were too narrow that actually limited McAllister and Endo options to pass and made it very easy for Newcastle to defend with their compact shape. And not just in first half, second half too, it was too compact. And one thing annoyed me was Liverpool's resistance to build up from back, knowing they are one man short, and Newcastle actually took advantage of it by pressing high and winning in high areas. But it did change after Jota and Elliott's substitution and later Nunez also. Immediately Jota provided that width on left hand side. This does stretch Newcastle defense, and Jota is good at winning headers too. That would mean if Liverpool go direct against Newcastle high press, they would have advantage up front, and Liverpool rallied impressively in the second half despite their 33.9% possession. Jota effect was there, but as soon as Nunez came on, it all changed. Nunez provided that pace up front, and Liverpool became way more direct using his pace and movement. And talking about movement, Liverpool's first goal can be a great example. Here Alexander-Arnold has ball. Instead of circulating the ball, he directly plays to Salah. Salah who then plays to Jota and continue his run to extract burn. And this is elite movement. And then it's Botman mistake and Nunez' clinical finish. But then also it's the small details and the build-up. And if Salah wouldn't have made that run, it would have been impossible for Nunez to get all that space. Nunez and Jota's substitution made a spark into Liverpool's up front. And talking about Liverpool's second goal, it was the same directness and movement from their forwards. Although Newcastle played well, they would be regretting to not finish those chances, but it actually cushions Eddie Howe's approach to the game. Look at the stat here. They had 6 turnovers in compared to 10 men Liverpool took. That shows how many men Newcastle throwed away to get their second goal, and they paid the price. But if any player performance that had gone under radar was Alisson. He made 7 saves to the game and progressed the ball good even more than Szoboszlai and McAllister, as shown above. But what did you make of the game? And who will finish top 4 this season, Newcastle or Liverpool? Comment below.